I was at a party last night, and half the room were Web3 music.
Yeah.
And they're fighting a big fight, right? It's a really hard industry because everybody's got IP rights. Film industry is the same.
Well, you're disrupting long-standing.
And they're disrupting industry after industry after industry after industry, much like the internet did, right? So this is the kind of payment value rails for all of this. So everybody's doing that. So if you think of it,
it's just not touching most of us yet.
No,
that's why you don't know. Yeah.
And so it's an ant colony.
Yeah.
And it's anti-fragile because it's an ant colony. And what you're about to do is you are about to kind of, as soon as liquidity comes back in the space, you're like feeding this ant colony and everything comes alive. So that it's very clear to me when I see it. It's like everybody's heads down building, doing their thing. And the moment liquidity comes in, the whole place explodes again.
One of the most compelling arguments in favor of cryptocurrencies is the substantial influx of capital that has inundated the crypto and blockchain sectors since 2020. This capital influx can be categorized into two primary types: venture capital and intellectual capital. The first type, venture capital, has witnessed billions of dollars poured into both new and existing crypto projects, fostering innovation and development. The second type, intellectual capital, represents the brilliant minds and talents that have flocked to the blockchain industry. Renowned figures like Kevin O'Leary are engaging with leading educational institutions like MIT, Notre Dame, and Harvard to educate and inspire the next generation of blockchain enthusiasts. This convergence of capital and talent is a testament to the immense potential of the crypto space, as highlighted by Raoul Pal in his latest analysis. Raoul Pal underscores that while substantial progress has been happening behind the scenes, the full transformative power of the crypto space awaits a resurgence in liquidity. He anticipates that as liquidity returns to the crypto market, the cumulative impact of this capital and intellectual investment will catalyze explosive growth and innovation. Pal's insights provide valuable perspective on the ongoing development within the crypto sector and the potential it holds for significant advancements in the near future. To gain a deeper understanding of where Pal believes we currently stand in the macro cycle, be sure to watch the video until the end.
What was really amazing, again, if you step back, is that space attracts an astonishing amount of smart people. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. And everybody is down their deep rabbit hole trying to fix some part of this. So everything was there, from gaming and how to take away the monopolies of Apple and the control over, who takes payment systems, all of this stuff within the gaming economy and the apps economy and the cultural economy. Then there's other people trying to solve payment rails. There's other people trying to solve the infrastructure layer. There's other people trying to solve the finance system and how we can put finance on the blockchain. So people like Franklin Templeton were there talking, who've been on Real Vision, about how they are tokenizing money market funds. We had the hedge funds there, how they're investing in these markets, and what kind of capital's flowing. There was Caitlin Long and Novo, and everybody talk about regulation and where that's going, and the Bitcoin ETF. So it's so broad, and the tentacles are everywhere with this extraordinary group of smart people. It shocks me every time because it gets reduced online to Bitcoin and ETH and blah blah blah. And when you actually see the magnitude of what is being built, and by the types of people and the kind of smart capital, I met this guy for a coffee, and I got introduced. Guy, long beard, super nice guy, and he was an OG, 2011, super late with the radar screen. And he happened to just end up doing kind of VC deals. He first was like, he met Vitalik before Ethereum came out. So he was Vitalik, Ethereum ICO, super early in absolutely everything, really quiet, considered guy. And then he started doing VC, and I think his first VC fund, he returned 66x. Now he runs money for two people, and I won't mention their names, are two of the most famous people in the history of finance. And he just does that. And you're like, wow, one of them I know very well, is a friend. The other person who I know, I didn't know that, how much involvement he had in this space. I was at a party last night, and half the room were Web3 music.
Yeah.
And they're fighting a big fight, right? It's a really hard industry because everybody's got IP rights. Film industry is the same.
Well, you're disrupting long-standing.
And they're disrupting industry after industry after industry after industry, much like the internet did, right? So this is the kind of payment value rails for all of this. So everybody's doing that. So if you think of it,
it's just not touching most of us yet.
No,
that's why you don't know. Yeah.
And so it's an ant colony.
Yeah.
And it's anti-fragile because it's an ant colony. And what you're about to do is you are about to kind of, As soon as liquidity comes back in the space, you're like feeding this ant colony and everything comes alive. So that it's very clear to me when I see it. It's like everybody's heads down building, doing their thing, and the moment liquidity comes in, the whole place explodes again. So yeah, it was really interesting.
Are those people also doing AI, or is that a different crowd?
There are people working kind of at the nexus of AI. Obviously, some of the VC investors cross over between the areas. But yeah, it's interesting to see the broad crossover people obviously left, the family offices, the people who kind of lost interest. But, I was sitting with Texas Teachers Retirement System, Matt Halstead, and Matt's coming on Real Vision, the interview's out. I mean, the pensions guys are there. I mean, they've been involved, the early mandates, all of that. So look, it's not what you think it is. There is an extraordinary amount of people, capital. For me, we're in macro spring. Macro spring is volatile, it's confusing, because you have inflation, the slow component slowing down, but they've just started. The forward-looking stuff, the commodity stuff starts picking up, and you're bottoming in the business cycle. We saw the ISM coming out today, and it looks like it's at a bottom, and that's the work that Julian and I have done at Global Macro Investor. So we actually think the economic cycle picks up, but the stuff like inflation, the wages, the rents and stuff slows down. So this point is classically a good point for commodities. Because they get bombed out in the bad side of the cycle, and then you start to get the relief rally. So it's classically good for that, but it's also classically good for technology, which is why technology has been the best performing sector the whole year. So that's why people are so confused, because they kind of want it to be one or the other, and it's not.
So are commodities anticipating the ultimate? Are they sort of looking past this and are they just because they're coming off a bottom?
Yeah,
or
because,
are they anticipating
again,
an ultimate payoff?
My point was last year this was all priced in.
Right.
So what a lot of people find funny is I say, well, the equity market priced in the economic slowdown last year, and a lot of people say that's ridiculous. But those same people are actually the commodity bulls, where the commodities priced it in last year as well. That's when most of the commodities fell and did most of their damage on the downside. So we had all of that last year. So this is it's always a confusing point in markets.
Do you think we're still going to have a recession? Or do you think that also happened?
I think we're actually in one. I mean, I don't know a single business who's not seen a slowdown. I don't know a single person who's not had to let go of staff. I've not seen any sign that we've got robust strength. So yes, you might get the government sector growing somewhat from the fiscal stimulus, but what you're seeing is the private sector struggling. And we've seen that pretty much everywhere. So if that's the case, then usually if ISM's bottomed, therefore it bottomed over the last few months, that leads GDP by a quarter. So we probably end up seeing weaker GDP numbers. We might get downward revisions soon, and then we'll get weaker GDP, I think, into Q4 and Q1, because it takes a while before it comes back up from the bottom again. And my hypothesis always was this was going to be a mild recession. It's like 1990. It's a mild recession. The markets fall kind of between 25 and 40%. Sure, some stuff like technology, the growthy end of technology went down to 75%. Some of the commodities got hit equally as hard. But overall, it's a relatively mild event, which is hard to believe with rates having gone up as much as they have. So normally, this kind of volatility happens very normal this time of year. We should expect more volatility into October, but usually that's when it stops.
Raoul Pal, with his profound insights into macroeconomics and cryptocurrencies, offers a perspective that is both illuminating and captivating. His analysis paints a compelling picture of the burgeoning growth and the extraordinary potential poised to be unleashed within the sector as liquidity re-enters the equation. The groundwork has been meticulously laid, and the scaffolding for a new era in finance is firmly in place. As Pal meticulously dissects the intricacies of the macroeconomic cycle, it becomes strikingly evident that we are standing on the precipice of witnessing the monumental impact of cryptocurrencies on the financial landscape and far-reaching realms beyond. Pal's views underscore the remarkable inflow of capital into the crypto space since 2020. This influx takes two primary forms: venture capital, with billions of dollars poured into both new and existing projects, and intellectual capital, as some of the brightest minds globally channel their talents into the blockchain arena. Educational institutions of the highest caliber, such as MIT, Notre Dame, and Harvard, are witnessing a surge of students gravitating towards the crypto space. This convergence of immense talent and substantial financial resources sets the stage for monumental developments, making it increasingly apparent that the crypto industry is poised for explosive growth. As Pal eloquently elucidates, the infrastructure and innovation that have been brewing beneath the surface are now ready to blossom. The convergence of capital, intellectual prowess, and blockchain technology creates a perfect storm of potential for the crypto space. This dynamic landscape primes the sector for a transformative period, with palpable excitement building around the resurgence of liquidity and the impending explosion of opportunities in the world of cryptocurrencies. For more Daily Dose Crypto news, check out these 2 awesome videos on your screen. Click now and we will see you on the next video.